yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be another terrific Thursday as we invite you to be a part of today's talk today and share with us. 12:30, we're going to join our guest, Mr. Daniel Spiegel, and see what shakes. But between now and then, let's have a couple of minutes of open line. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Also brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. And trust and pray that as you move about the day, you're not only feeling safe, but you're doing quite well, enthusiastic, you're feeling encouraged. And as you look, beyond sort of the four walls, which we seem to be all behind, that you all have a sense of hope and great expectation. So we invite you to share with us 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. And then you can always share us, your thoughts with us on our WhatsApp 925-3261. And if it's a voice note, hey, Miss Susan will listen to it and play it if that's what you want and it's appropriate to do so. Now, recognizing that it is a different time, we have a number of you keep sharing some great things that are not only inspirational but offensive. Give us a pause to think and to truly get into some of the discussions that we should have. But I would like to say a special thanks to our wonderful dear friend who sends on a regular basis, some scripture readings and prayers and the like. And she's been doing this now for years. And today's, prayer and scripture came from Psalms 35, verse 5. And as I read it and we read it and recognizing that so many right now are feeling in a particular way, recognizing the losses that we're suffering, the chance that we once had no longer exists. And as I read the scripture for us and say, for his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts for a lifetime. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. And perhaps with that, we can reflect and take comfort. And for the rest, of whatever lies ahead, perhaps I invite us to consider, and as a discussion that we would like to get into at some point, we keep talking about the normal, what is normal, and the new norm, and the like. Maybe we'll get into that. But let's go straight to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
This is Percy Worms from the back, my beloved, my beloved, my beloved. How are you today?
Blessings, sir. And it's always a pleasure, Mr. Percy, to hear from you. And you're an inspiration to many.
I tell you, it's always a pleasure to talk to you too. But as I look outside and I am amazed at how wonderful my God is. And I'd like the greatest songwriter on planet Earth so far wrote a song 2,000 years ago that every musician I think I know of has actually put music to this thing. But to open your show today, I would like to ask all your audience to join me in this particular song. It goes like this. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on this earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who will trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from this evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. How are you, Sterling?
I am even feeling more blessed now, sir. And as I listen to you and
We
recognize,
have never been so blessed in our entire life. You know, I really have to say this because I don't really frequent any churches. You know, but my mother told me when I was in her womb that she was about to die, and she didn't want me to die. She had fever up to 205 and pushing. And she said, I said, Mama, how come I live? Because I'm premature. She said, I put my arms around my belly and I said, Jesus, save this one and he's all yours. And here I am today. Anyway, I'm so glad that I could do that. The other thing that I really find out, and I've been listening to other shows and what have you, the biggest problem that we're facing right now basically is the high cost of electricity, the high cost of living, and we don't have no work, we don't have no this, we don't have no that. Everybody is at home now, and they got the AC running, and all, which is one of the worst things you can actually do, keeping your AC running in the daytime with COVID-19 running around, you know. What we need to have to stop to understand that as you burn it, and I mean, CUC can blame them for much, but they still have to pay for their expenses, regardless of what they've been guaranteed as profit. Banks guarantee profits and what have you. But the real way out of this, as far as electricity cost is concerned, is all those homeowners who are paying mortgages and what have you. We have to understand what is happening today. Look at how much Mother Earth appreciates the lack of global warming, the contribution that we've been making. Look how beautiful the skies are. Look how clean the seas are. You can see so much less crap coming into the thing because mankind have to slow down because of this love of money.
Agreed, huh?
So what we have to do right now is to appreciate all the scientific things that we have done. Solar energy and wind power is the way for every individual to go today. I have been doing it for 30-odd years. My light bill that is tied into the grid is never run me more than so much what I burn from that, because I have my own little battery-powered unit there, and I have my little wind generator and my little solar panels. In case you want to hear my little air conditioning, and listen to this. You hear that?
Yes, sir.
You know what that is? That's been running for 10 years, and it's a fan, a 12-volt fan that comes from out of a car. It's tied to one little 2 by 18-inch by 2.5-foot solar panel that runs, and I'm right in the doorway right now, and I'm telling you, it sucks the air from the earth up and through the ceiling. Mm-hmm. People have to understand what God has given us in intelligence, that we must start to use that. And if you go to the bank, for instance, you've got what it costs to make each individual house completely sustainable and have extra the cost. With a battery, with the unit today, is less than it costs to buy a new car. And the bank, it will cost that much less, and it will also ease up the power from CUC. I mean, we're still going to have to depend on that type of production. And of course, if we go to steam generating power, we got the whole of Mount Trashmore that we can screen burn. Not just light it a fire and send it up in the air and destroy what COVID-19 has done for Mother Earth. Mother Earth is not trembling as much as it used to,
Yeah. You're right, man. And we're seeing the impact on it. And that's something that I think we can look at and see and perhaps take action going forward. Mr. Purser, always a pleasure. I could listen to you all day. And I'm just mindful that we need to be a little bit more on time with these breaks that we have. So we can talk again another time, sir.
No, can I say something more?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The other thing that we have to do right now is not only looking at that department, we have to start educating and teaching our children how to handle where we go from here. We're going to need education to be able to handle fixing cars, fixing AC, fixing this and stuff like that, because this idea of having a banker job or a lawyer's job is out the window. So we have to start that again. We can't, don't allow me, I begged these people before, don't allow me to die with all this knowledge in my head when I can teach people how to survive the way I'm surviving. So with that, I will leave you, my brother. Thank you.
God bless you, sir. With that, we'll pause, and when we come back, we'll talk today.
Has being quarantined at home have you looking at your living space differently? Well, Tomlinson Furniture is now offering free island-wide deliveries and phone consultations to help you design a comfortable living space. For inspiration and ideas, browse the Tomlinson Furniture and Mattress Gallery Facebook page, Tomlinson Furniture Cayman on Instagram, or website at tomlinsonfurniture.ky. Open from 9:30 a.m. for phone consultations and orders. Call 949-5383. Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Free delivery island-wide.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Bring a little bit of luck to your house with Lucky Slice from America. burgers, steak, and the all-day American breakfast. From Europe, fish and chips, pizza and crepes, and from Asia, sushi.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 7 days a week, delivery or pickup, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. In these difficult times, we can all use a little bit of luck. Keep calm and stay lucky.
Minimize contact. Make your credit card payment by phone. Pay only for food. No delivery fee. No service charge. Certain restrictions apply. Call Lucky Slice Pizza to place your delivery order now. 949-3456.
Order from Cayman Creperie, Mojo Sushi, and Lucky Slice Pizza. Call 949-3456.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman, with hand sanitizer from $3.25, 10 surgical masks for $9.99, and 2 packs of KN95 masks for $6.99. Wholesale pricing available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations: Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the incredible lockdown price markdown and manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Hundreds of fine starting from cases of ice cold below wholesale prices, and save $9 off liters. Prices so low we can't say it on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks and social distancing while in store, and encourage other preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Shelter in place. Stay home. Stay out of Johnny Public. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information: the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Grape Tree Cafe is happy to announce that they will be reopening on Thursday, May 7th for takeout only. Your delicious fish will be available for takeout from Thursday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Call or WhatsApp to place your order. 324-5860. That's 324-5860. The management and staff of Grape Tree Cafe in Bordentown would like to encourage everyone to practice social distancing and to stay home and stay safe.
Do you want to shop online at A.L. Thompson's? You can. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts. We have contact-free delivery, will not enter households, and will maintain social distance for everyone's safety. We hope that you'll enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. Hoping to connect up with our guests shortly. We'll place the call and get everything on the way. So once that happens, hey, we're going to be able to engage in some discussion, looking after the legal and economic and socio-political sort of ramifications of what we're facing now, and get a perspective. Invite you to share your thoughts with us as we do that. Let's share a couple of sentiments that have been expressed to us by some of our listeners. And here is one from one of our listeners who poses a number of questions and suggests, says, is there any reason why the MLA offices in the 19 electoral districts cannot be open to assist those unemployed who need their money and are not computer savvy or have Wi-Fi? Those MLA offices could, assist by printing off the forms, answering questions, assisting anyway, region, if necessary, with the notaries to be on standby to notarize, for instance, the pensions, emergency withdrawal forms. Likewise, why not allow the district libraries to open for the same service? And of course, all of them practicing the safe physical distancing that we're being asked. Well, what are your thoughts? The district libraries, the district MLA offices, would you think having them open and available to the public to be able to go if they need extra assistance, having any documents signed by notaries or JPs, being able to print off and fill out, would they be of value? Should they be considered essential in this time? All right. So, as a thought, I must also share that following the press briefing yesterday, I think a number of people that sort of either sent messages or call wanted to commend the premier for perhaps being cognizant, of even though his intent perhaps is to get the economy running again, recognizing the importance of getting people to be gainfully employed as much as possible. Always emphasizing the importance of the safety and health and welfare of others, sharing that in particular with respect to the garden services, that maybe, and this is only the sentiments from people who reflecting on what the premier shared, maybe recognizing that perhaps was a little too soon for that type of sector to be, unlocked. I think one individual phrased it, given the nature of the work, and suggested two things: that if you were to proceed with, opening up construction, that too could be a misstep at this time, and perhaps it would be better, to revisit the whole issue of the mobile car wash and the gardeners, and maybe for this time, rescind that level of service at this time. Recognizing, as one lady said, for her, having someone to keep her yard, and something she's always had. She has the wherewithal to pay for it, and without question, it's something that we have become accustomed to. But at the end of the day, maybe at this time, there's that opportunity for others who can, not just because they're physically able, but for some who are physically able, just to have the tools, whether it's the lawnmower or the other gardening tools to assist with their yards. Now, it was relatively, and unfortunately, without a degree of rain in some parts. There's been some, thankfully, recently. But as she was sharing, given the nature of what we were experiencing, she could reach out to, her grown children, and ordinarily they would be able to come on and assist. But even in that instance, could we allow that perhaps instead of having to bring, as it were, strangers in a sense? Well, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And Miss Susan is always there, So Miss Susan, how are you feeling today? We're gonna have some fun on the show as normal, and engage as we invite and include our listeners to join us now as we go to our phones and welcome by phone.
Hey, we're gonna take a break first, and then we'll come back with a guest. Yes.
All right. If you all think that just because I am out of sight and Miss Susan doesn't have her long hand in control and full authority, she's
and a tamarind switch as well.
Forget it. Can I repeat that? She says, and to remind him, she has a tamarind switch as well. So, thank you, Miss Susan. Now I'm reminded. We're going to pause. We're going to take that break. And when we come back, more talk today.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Staying home has just got a whole lot easier. Cayman Spirits has now launched a new delivery service, offering free home delivery of hand sanitizers and face masks. When COVID-19 struck Cayman, Cayman Spirits answered the call, repurposing their facilities to produce hand sanitizer during the island-wide shortage. Now that service is coming to your front door. Search for the Rum Runners in the App Store or visit rumrunners.ky to place your order of hand sanitizer and face mask. Free delivery with purchase of $50 or more. Rumrunners.ky by Cayman Spirits. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman.
It's time to stay steady in the summer and be ready for the fall. Summer 2020 classes begin on May 11th, and there has never been a more opportune time for you to invest in your future with online classes at UCCI. Do your part to keep our island safe and stay home Cayman while furthering your educational goals. Continue or start your success story today by visiting ucci.edu.ky/myucci to find out more about the enrollment process. Call 623-8224 or email info@ucci.edu.ky to learn more.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay home. Leave Granny alone. Darling child, I mean, we can't be visiting our old people because they're more compromised. We gotta keep them safe. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC. Just $12 each. And it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. The phone lines are open. We have our guests, but you can still call. In fact, we want you to share your thoughts as hopefully our conversation inspires within you a thought process, whether it's a question, comment, or query. You're seeking clarification or you just want to comment. It's yours as well, 949-8837 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to the phones and welcome our guests. Mr. Daniel, good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
I am very, very, very blessed, very thankful, very, very grateful indeed. So we're looking forward to having you join us.
Thank you. It's a great show already, and I hope I don't mess that up. Thank you.
No, listen. As you said, it was a great show. It got better when Mr. Percy came on and shared with us, and now with you, hey, we gonna make it that much, more engaging and informative. Now, first and foremost, I trust and pray that you and all that are near and dear to you continue to be safe and well, and together we'll grow stronger and much more appreciative of what life has to offer.
Agreed. Yes, thank goodness.
All right. If I could, well, perhaps before I ask in a number of questions, your initial thoughts on what we're feeling, sensing locally and globally. What comes to mind? What are your initial thoughts?
Well, it's interesting you put it that way because actually it's like, what can one person do versus the world? And the answer is that's how this whole thing got started. Somewhere along the line, one person started this amazingly horrible situation we're all living in, including being dead. So, but in terms of what's going on the islands, has been nothing short of incredible. And I take that the reason for that is that the government got on this right away, dissected as much as they could of what the world was saying about this situation, and basically locking down the communities so it wouldn't spread.
Mm-hmm.
To the best of their knowledge, of course.
Yeah. And as I listen to you, as hopefully more of us, are willing deliberately to spend time reading, whether we're looking at something, as a video, or we're reading texts, or whether we're reading something published in scientific journals, the popular media, or otherwise. But there are a lot of ramifications of this whole thing, not least of which the socio-political, the economic, the legal. We hear psychologists weighing in. We have economists giving us a perspective. The political pundits. There are all sorts of things that are transpiring. Are there things that we are perhaps not yet in the Cayman context, or even in the Western Hemisphere, cognizant of, that you may have seen and said, okay, have we considered the potential impact of this on us now and going forward?
Well, yes. There's this how should we say it? Unforgiving rule, which is they call it unintended consequences. And so when you do one thing, it affects another, and you say, "Oh, gee, I didn't realize that." I personally call that critical thinking. So that when, for instance, when you close down people and they can't go to work and they can't do this, obviously you're going to have a financial impact. So I dare say, though, I think when all of this is said and done, and unfortunately more is usually said than done, but I think that the social aspects of this are going to be the most difficult to deal with long term.
Yeah. And perhaps that's something that just generally, not even, whether it's sociologists or psychologists or even in the medical profession, we can recognize that on our own lives. But if I could maybe just step 1 second, back to a comment I made earlier prior to you joining us, because it was, if I were keeping, and I am mentally, not physically, but if I were keeping track, of things that people share to say, gauge what's on people's mind. Yesterday, the Honorable Premier, doing a press briefing, made mention specifically of the garden services and the like. We knew that as of Monday, that service or sector would be up and running. And following, his comments yesterday that he had received a number of reports that perhaps they were not only in contravention of the public health regulations and the like, not being sufficient spaced apart because of their work and the like. But there were a number of people. Now, I did not physically write it down to say it was 5 or 500, but suffice it to say that it was in double digits easily. The number of people who made representation, just to me alone, that said, well, it's good that the Premier acknowledged that. It may be possible that he would have to go back and rescind that for now because it's not working as it is now, Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday. But all of them, and I'm not exaggerating, shared two things. That if this is just gardening, what would happen if we go further into that type of work, construction, for instance, that may come in 2 weeks? The other thing that people shared was this notion that one, realizing that individuals naturally want to get back to work. In order to do their work, they're going to do it the way they know how, but they're going to go back home to their families. They're going to be out and about in their community, supermarkets and the banks and the other places, and potentially will interact with more people. And given that two of the tests yesterday were frontline individuals, what is the potential impact? Now, this is just people, thinking and speculating and creating some conjecture and the like. But the other thing, in addition to the potential impact that it could have on the spread, there were two comments. That one and the second one was this was the word I used, and it was only used by maybe two people, if that many. The noise pollution of the garden equipment. It was so quiet and peaceful, that they could hear in the neighborhoods almost, the AC whirring down the house, 10 houses down. All of a sudden, the ear was pierced by this droning sound of the weed whackers and the blowers and all the other thing. And one lady said she'd forgotten how quiet her neighborhood was. And all of a sudden, now that peace and tranquility is gone, right? And this is a comment that I heard from people who lived in homes that we would consider to be in seven figures, thousands and thousands of square feet, and equally from people who lived in family homes that are approaching probably 100 years old and maybe not as big as some of the master suites some of us now occupy. But all of them thought their neighborhoods, weren't as peaceful as of Monday. So the social implications there in and of itself, right?
Yes. You're asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So as I was sharing with you, I mean, those two comments there, the social implications of our economic considerations, and as you were saying, the unintended consequences.
Yes.
Now, is that something that we as a people now, no matter what legislation or what the positive intent of our government actions, it comes to us as a people to sort of check our behaviors and perhaps rethink the way we're doing things. Yeah. So I listen to you as you share.
Right. Well, it's kind of interesting since I have two daughters that live in California and Los Angeles area, and they're very close to Beverly Hills. They're not in Beverly Hills, but Beverly Hills as a municipality years ago realized that it was not conducive to peace and quiet when you have all these blowers and, as you said, other equipment running. It's very noisy. And so they passed an ordinance that said that they can't have unreasonable levels of noise. That's kind of wishy-washy to me, but that's what they chose, unreasonable. And at 10 p.m., which is quite late in my mind, you cannot run anything. It's against the law, and I suppose there are fines and whatnot. So it's been done other places. I mean, certainly nobody should be making noise outside after 10 o'clock in the evening. That's ridiculous. But during the day as well, it's and I've been there visiting them. It's extremely quiet, except for the traffic. Of course, you still have that noise. But that other things that we've become accustomed to. It's part of everyday living. It could be attenuated. It really could. And that's one way of doing it. The other thing is, I think, even maybe larger than this, is by all of us being quarantined, we now have the factor, what are we going to do with that time? And one of the things you can do, obviously, is read, whether it's a book or online, etc., to learn more about what it is we're going through, to keep up with the technical stuff, although I must admit I'm a little lost at times with that, since I'm not a doctor or a scientist. But for instance, a friend of mine forwarded a letter he received from a fellow he knows who lives in California, and he started out by telling the reader that he's been working on viral diseases for over 50 years. And 50 years ago, they discovered this very virus. So they've known of its existence or potential existence for a very long time. It's sort of like, that what was old is new again.
All right. Well, we have the news break coming up, and then when we come back, we'll join a caller and certainly, weigh in with you on some of the points. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Chamber will be hosting its 7th free webinar tomorrow focused on government's recently announced National Pensions Amendment Law. The webinar will be held in partnership with the Department of Labor and Pensions and will provide details aimed at providing financial relief to businesses and individuals in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. Attendees will also be able to get answers about the terms and conditions for assessing their pension funds. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The fatal shooting of a Chinese-born coronavirus researcher on U.S. soil has fueled conspiracy theories around the world. Bing Liu, a 37-year-old assistant professor at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, was found dead in his house on Saturday. Colleagues said he was close to making significant findings on his studies of COVID-19, sparking online speculation it was an assassination. And measures to curb the spread of coronavirus will be kept in place in Paris when the lockdown is eased in other parts of France. Its prime minister says. Edouard Philippe said the country was cut in two in terms of the rate of infections. Restrictions will remain in the capital and northeastern regions. It comes as France prepares to relax its lockdown on Monday, with shops and some schools allowed to reopen. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Grapetree Cafe is happy to announce that they will be reopening on Thursday, May 7th for takeout. Delicious fish will be available for takeout from Thursday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Call or WhatsApp to place your order, 324-5860. That's 324-5860. The management and staff of Grapetree Cafe in Bordentown would like to encourage everyone to practice social distancing and to stay home and stay safe.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman, with hand sanitizer from $3.25, 10 surgical masks for $9.99, and 2 packs of KN95 masks for $6.99. Wholesale pricing available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations: Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the incredible lockdown price markdown and manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Hundreds of fine starting from cases of ice cold below wholesale prices, and save $9 off liters. Prices so low we can't say it on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks and social distancing while in store and encourage other preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
For nearly 20 years, King Sports Center has been the heart of the Cayman fitness and wellness community. In order to ensure the welfare of all, we are temporarily closed until further notified by the Cayman Islands government that it is safe to reopen. During these trying times, we encourage everyone to maintain a healthy lifestyle, mind, body, and soul. We look forward to continuing providing you with world-class service in the very near future. Remain strong and continue to show the world the power of Cayman unity. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
This Mother's Day, more than ever, Celebrations wants to deliver a special thank you to the other unsung hero, Mom. Delight your mom with a gorgeous, fresh floral arrangement, a special gift, gourmet or fruit and flower combination, all uniquely designed for her. With every order this Mother's Day, Celebrations will be donating $5 to Feed Our Future and helping to support families. Celebrations will be doing island-wide, safe, non-contact delivery of flowers and gifts from this Thursday, May 7th, until Sunday, May 10th. Call us on 623-2044 or place your order online at www.celebrationsgifts.com. Happy Mother's Day.
I love you.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up-to-date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today. It can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and appreciate our guest, Mr. Daniel, sharing time with us. And to our listeners, you can call 949-8037. That's 949-8037, or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Mr. Daniel, as we were looking just before the break at some of the behaviors and the like, and now as we think about the times that we're spending, as you shared, trying to read different things, maybe read more of the same things, whether we're watching audio, videos, and the like. From your perspective, what are you making of all of this? I'm trying to engage from various people across many different sectors and professions, from their own personal experience and expertise, for those who may have lived and worked and traveled and are from different regions, to get their perspectives so that I can at least make it as complete as possible. So your continuing thoughts, most welcome.
Well, thank you. Of course, one of the things that we have today that we didn't, for instance, in 1918, during the period of the so-called Spanish flu. By the way, I've never heard anybody explain why it's called the Spanish flu. What Spain had to do with it, I don't know. But in any event, it seems to me that the internet, of course, is one of the major differences in time. But that also creates another problem, which is it's one thing not to have any information. Worse than not having information is to have bad information. And I'm afraid that we're all victims of the most recent craze going across the world. And we all know how fast these things move on the internet. So again, you need to be able to sort out what is true and what is not true. And I'm not sure if it's even that black and white, but assuming that it can be put that way, yes. And one of the things that has come out, I think, which is good to a point, is the fact that we're all pretty much locked down wherever we are, and now we're seeing the results of being locked down for so long versus having a recurrence of this vile disease. And so that's where we're at now. Really, is the watching of this, and it's interesting. If we're logically, I'm thinking, if we're all pretty much locked down, especially on an islands, pardon me, like we have here, where is this disease coming from? In other words, the surfaces that have been contaminated have been contaminated, and they've put out all kinds of information about, well, it lasts this long on plastic and this long on stainless steel, and keep cleaning it, and et cetera, et cetera. So you think it's pretty much, been spent. It's gone. Whatever it was, it's gone, and now we should be free of that because there's no new diseases coming, no new people coming in with disease. So, but even with that, how do we explain that? Well, then they start talking about asymptomatic people. Now, if people are asymptomatic, what are we talking about? Is there another aspect to what's going on with this disease? And there's actually a woman who has been pointed to. She's a virologist. She's been at this for many, many years, and she has a theory. Not a theory. She claims she proved it years ago about what's going on with this disease, and yet she's been silenced. So when someone like that gets silenced, the first thing you have are conspiracy theories, which is terrible because if she in fact does have something to say, and we should all hear it, especially the experts, then let's hear it. Let it out. And so we'll have to see about that. And I'm not holding out any specific hope for that, but it would be nice to know what else we're dealing with.
Right. And as I listened to you, just right at the 1 p.m. headline news, we heard on our news, the report that a scientist has been shot and killed, and as a result of that, now there's increasing speculation of conspiracy theory and that his death, could have been an assassination. So to that point, here's a news report of something that has just happened, and we're seeing, as you shared, a lot of other media outlets globally making some reports. Is that part of the challenge then, from what you're sharing, that we're not only getting too much or a lot of information, but a lot of information that isn't necessarily accurate or worthwhile? So it's misinformation, but then we're not sometimes getting information from other sources like the scientists and the like, who are questioning because of the nature of their profession. Well, what about this, and does this mean that? Is that part of the challenge, that only leads to people to be that much more fearful, that much more sort of misinformed?
I do. I think that in fact is the worst thing that can happen when you're dealing with this, because misinformation or even disinformation, which means it's intentional, could be disastrous for the populace, because instead of listening to, for instance, what the government's saying, people take it upon themselves to say, well, they really don't know what they're doing either, because everybody's pointing different fingers at different situations here as to what causes this and what spreads it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to stay in. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what I normally would be doing. And that's just not it's not a good way of running your life. It's really you're running the risk of doing half-baked things to protect yourself, and for that matter, all of us, because we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. I mean, the last thing I know I would ever want to do would be do something stupid, if you will, or not thoughtful, and somehow infect another human being. That would not be, and that's how this all, as I said, got started. There was one human being. So, and let me point out one other thing. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it did seem to me questionable, let's put it that way, that the fellow in Wuhan in China, the doctor, who had been working on this very project of trying to understand more about COVID-19, he supposedly contracted the disease and died. Now, in China. Now, whether or not he died of natural causes, that is to say from the disease, I don't know. But I've never heard another word about that. Never. So I'm not saying that, and maybe because there is no way of finding out whether or not he was murdered or in fact was subject to having a disease and dying. Anyway, so that's the problem with misinformation, as I see it, or bad information.
Right. Well, we do have a caller join us. Let's go to our phones and welcome. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you today?
All right. Afternoon, sorry.
It feels like evening somewhere.
I know. Kind of worked out a little bit, but I just thought that I would call in and say a few words about the stay home that I hear by the higher echelons of the society.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, many people, are kind of sick and tired of hearing about stay home. Listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best that they can advertise or tell people just to stay home in a time like this? Can they not add something more positive to it? Telling people, well, about staying home and try to do something. What are you doing today? Try to get people motivated instead of every day listening to the press conference, nothing more to do, and then wait till the next day. That's not good enough, considering that hurricane season starts in June. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They should be trying to not making people paranoid or killing them with anxiety, but let's face reality. People have a lot of things to do into their properties, and just a sort of a reminder for people to get on with it. Let's get a hardware store open, like the supermarkets, that people can get what they need, because things that I really need now, I can't get in line in order to them, because I am a very particular person with what I choose, with what I buy. I need to see what I am buying. Besides that, Dwayne, it is time that they change this scenario. Yes, stay home, but that's all you can say. We have to be careful, but how long is this going to keep up? People are getting really not just fed up, but their ambition seems to be dwindling on the downward trend. They need food, they need other things. So I would say, and I will repeat, they certainly need to change this scenario in their ads and try to get people more, positive, enlighten people, let them feel that there's some hope. Because right now, it's a cloud that's hanging over there like the world is going to come to an end. And unless they change this psychological impact they got on people, it's not a good situation.
You're right, I mean, as I listen to you, the whole notion, it begs the question, where are we going to go? How will this affect people? As you say, psychologically, the idea that, you're being asked to do things in a way that may be challenging, Like many of us like to, when we're buying something, we like to pick it out ourselves, try it on, turn it over, and tap it a little bit to see if it's what we want.
Exactly, Dwayne, exactly. And I'm tired of hearing every 10 seconds, stay home, stay home. For me personally, I'm fine. I got a lovely piece of property. I can do gardening. I can do anything, everything. So I'm occupied every day because at least I know I'm an outdoor person as well. But like I will repeat again, there's a lot of people that they just got 4 walls to look at. I mean, you can't really do that to people, They're the humans as well. And I really hope, again, that they will come up with a different scenario and take what I am saying in the context it was meant to be. Not to think that I'm trying to complain or push things around. Just get on with it and let people decide that we're going to change the goalposts a little bit now and get things going for the whole community. So, Dwayne, Again,
Yes,
I
sir.
have to go, but thank you so much for listening to me, and have yourself a pleasant day. Thank you.
Amen. And to you, sir. You're most welcome. Thanks again. Now, Mr. Daniel, from that perspective, as a caller sharing, the messaging that seems to be almost consistent, almost orchestrated globally, certainly in the Western world. It is, how do I say this? Part and parcel of what you alluded to earlier. The notion that we should start thinking and asking questions and considering being responsible, certainly, but being critical consumers, critical thinkers, right? So for those of us who live in Cayman, may be better positioned because of all the nationalities that are here. We can have contacts with people that are literally, across the globe. And it seems, from what I've gathered, that this messaging is the same everywhere. So with that, then, can I ask then, to the caller's last point, is it concerning that we could be potentially looking at this thing and the psychological, the societal implications are, one, perhaps unknown now, and two, maybe not as well considered from the way people are being conditioned, and then two, the idea that, for instance, let's take healthcare, and I won't try to speak from the perspective of any great information or any great insight or of being a practitioner, but we know that they've had, not just here, but we know it in the US in particular, they've had to reschedule some of the things. We've had issues with respect to people who otherwise would seek their physicians are afraid, according to media accounts, are afraid to venture out, so they'll stay home and they won't seek medical care. So with those things now, are we putting people at greater risk because everything is focused on this thing now that we got before us?
That's a very interesting question, and one that I think I'm going to, day by day, everything kind of molds to one day or a few days.
Yeah.
But there was just recently, I think it was about a week ago, the medical field asked that very question. They said, wait a minute, we're looking at what normally makes our hospitals flow in terms of procedures and money coming in from patients. And all of a sudden they said, well, wait a minute, we've had almost nobody come to us to say that they had a stroke or a heart attack or those kinds of things. Almost disappeared off the radar. Now, the first question is, wait a minute, are you telling me that there's people out there who need medical assistance and aren't coming to the hospital because of COVID-19? And apparently the answer to that is yes. Now, how does that work? I don't know. Because if, God forbid, you're at home and you're with your spouse or whoever, your significant other or your children or your grandparents or your parents, and someone says, gee, I don't feel very well, and they're exhibiting signs of one of those diseases, if you will, I think you still got to go to the hospital. Or at least call there to see what you should be doing. But again, the fear of getting infected by COVID-19 overshadows all of that.
Yeah.
So
and I think,
it's changed our behavior. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
No. And to your point, I was just looking back at some of the reports on the BBC and as well as in some of the US media that seemingly the way reports of death are now being logged. The physicians are being instructed, presumably, to put COVID somewhere in this thing, whether it caused the death, whether it was a person who died with it, but they were underlying conditions. And to your point, that the hospitals and physicians generally are saying, well, we're not seeing the people, and statistically, they know that every day, every hour, this amount of people will come through, with these particular issues, from heart to stroke to, hypertension to whatever it is, and those statistics are readily available. and all of a sudden there's nothing. So the question then again is asking, what are we doing? Has everything become this thing and nothing else happening? Now, we do know that with the time that people have on their hands, we're seeing just here in Cayman alone, people are getting out just to get out to exercise, whether they're wearing jeans or whether they're wearing exercise clothes. But people are still, have health issues. They didn't miraculously in the last month disappear. If you had a heart issue or you were hypertensive or you were diabetic, those things, can improve, but they're still there, right?
Exactly. They are still there. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. So to your point, this is why I'm grateful to you to being courageous, because I asked someone who sent me a piece if I could read it, and he said no. And all it was, I'm not trying to get around his objection, but all it was a critique, a commentary on what is new normal and why we consider it to be normal when what we've had before, and the whole idea of normal versus abnormal and how it's in relation. But his questions were simple, in that it asks, well, if we're doing this, does that have a knock-on effect on that, and why this, and why is it? And it was as if the fear was that anything you said that didn't sing the, say the company tune, you were considered to be, a conspiracy theorist or something. As that is some horrible thing these days, to be able to think and ask questions, which I believe we go back to education, we talk about becoming critical thinkers. So what is it then that the media, or why is it then it seems that the media and other right-thinking members of society are so unwilling to posit some questions, to maybe critique the status quo, or otherwise? What are we afraid of?
What are we afraid of? Well, the overarching fear that people today have, the greatest thing is this disease, and trying to figure out how to prevent that from entering your home, entering your life with your loved ones. It kind of, and I was thinking about this earlier. We were talking about people going to the hospital and they're not going now, etc. It's not that long ago in terms of our history, over 100 years, but at one time, over 100 years ago, people didn't go to the hospital unless they were gravely ill. They were about to die. And the reason is there were a lot of diseases at the hospital. I mean, where else would a self-respecting pathogen exist other than in a hospital? Because that's where sick people are. And so look at how much that's changed. And it was only a little more than 150 years ago that doctors in hospitals, or doctors anywhere, began to wash their hands before they saw patients, and each patient. It seems incredible. It seems incredible to hear this or to say it, but it's true. And there's a book about this called The Cry and the Covenant, and it's a story about a doctor from Hungary who was practicing in Austria, and his name was Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis. And he figured out that if we washed our hands, this is just before Lister came to the fore. If the doctors washed their hands, their patient recovery would be better, and he proved it. But they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because there were prejudices against him because he was Hungarian. Believe it or not, that's what happened. And it's a very instructive book. And so I hope now we're looking at this the same way, that we're doctors we are our own doctors, saying, what can we do to help prevent the spread of this disease? And again, it seems like some in the islands took it upon themselves to congregate, when in fact they shouldn't have been congregated. The result, all of our lovely beaches are closed to everybody. So that goes back to what we used to hear in grade school, that the few ruin it for the many. And so that's another thing. This never should have happened. This part of our lockdown never should have happened. But people abuse it, and so that's what you got.
Yeah, well, maybe when we come back from the break then, could we consider some of the legal things? If you're so inclined, we can talk about the potential, not just here in Cayman, but just globally. I'll reference some occurrences in Germany relative to face masks. Again, these are things that are in the international media. And I want to use Germany because we know the history there with World War II and the like. But could we talk about potentially some of the legal implications relative to freedoms and the like? All right, we're going to pause. We're going to take a break. The daily press briefing is scheduled for 2. Well, we'll take that when that comes as well. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up to date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
The RCIPS, National Drug Council, and Radio Cayman are reminding you to stay home, refrain from social gatherings, and having parties during soft and hard curfew. Do your part, limit alcohol consumption, or stay sober. Do not undermine your immune system and health by misusing alcohol or any other substance. Remember, we are all in this together. Stay safe, stay home, stay alive, Cayman.
Attention all blood donors, we need a pint from you. Join us at the National Blood Bank this Thursday, 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. The off-campus location at the Red Cross building across from the Farmers Market. Spend 15 minutes, give your pint, and save 3 lives. Curfew day not your day? Not a problem. Visit giveblood.ky, request your letter, and it will be emailed to you. The National Blood Bank Auxiliary location at the Red Cross building. Compliments of the Cayman Islands Red Cross. Community partners are Rotary Club Central, Generali Health Insurance, Car City Fosters Group, and the Cayman Blood Donor Service. Remember, when blood is needed, nothing else will do. This message is courtesy of the Rotary Club Central, supporting the National Blood Bank since 1999. Rotary, connecting the world.
Shopping online and picking up your purchases are now available at A.L. Thompson's. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts, and then can drive in and pick up your purchases. We hope that you will enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay at home. Stay home. No gadaboutin'. Stay your backside home. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Are you a Caymanian experiencing unemployment or have recently been laid off? Are you already registered with work but need to know what jobs are available or how to post job ads? Contact Work today. Call 945-9672 or toll free at 1-800-534-9672 or email worc@gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. We do have a call online as we welcome our guest, Mr. Daniel Spiegel, for joining us. So, Mr. Dan, let's go to the phones and join this caller before we get back to our discussion. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne, and I must say good afternoon to Susan and the rest of the Radio Cayman staff.
Thank you.
I have to say you all are doing an excellent job to keep us up to date on what's going on. But I must agree with the previous caller. There we are coming up on hurricane season next month. And our only talk is coronavirus. If we don't know yet that we need to wash our hands as often as possible, stay our social distance, wear masks, we'll never know. But I agree with the previous caller because we can do so much to prepare ourselves for hurricane season. Your home, there's so many things that the Muslim mothers, but fathers and mothers could teach their younger children while they're home how to do things, not only schoolwork. We can't go to the beach. I know of a gentleman, two, a matter of fact, right here in Northwest Point, that they're fishing for a living. Now, they're walking up and down the street because they can't make their living anymore. Why is that? I wonder, okay, the people that fishing for a living, why were they not, okay, they can go on fishing, but anybody else that is caught, that is doing fishing for a living or is just wasting time on the beach and doing, or on the iron shore, in this case was iron shore, then, do what they have to do, arrest them, and God knows we have enough police and we have enough border control and whatnot, but we're not thinking of what is coming up next. All you can hear is this thing, and it's coronavirus and whatnot, and it's getting people so stressed out. I feel sorry for those mothers. I have two nieces with young children, and they're about to climb the walls. Let us plan ahead because hurricane season is coming up, and the people that, it's so much things that could be done during this lockup time. Like, we could get people that want to be in tourism, work at hotels and work at condos, maybe 6 at a time, only Caymanians, and teach them. It's so many things that people do. What we be headed for next is people gonna go mental, and the mental ones are walking all over the street, begging for food and whatnot, and people are ignoring that fact that they're there and begging for food. But I could go on the whole day. I just want to say thanks to the frontline staff. Thanks to Radio Cayman, and may God bless each and every one of us. And don't ever forget there is a God, not only when in this time of need that we constantly have to be praying to and asking His guidance and protection for these islands. Not only this time, like what we did during Ivan, everybody was bless you. After that, things came together. And I heard no more about blessing you and blessing you. They ignore you then and walk around with their noses stuck up in the air. So I thank you all. And
yes, ma'am.
I mean what I say. God
Yes,
bless you.
Amen. And to you, God's blessings. All right, well, we do have Daniel online, but sir, we do have a couple other calls, and let's hear what the callers have to share. So thank you for being with us. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi.
Good afternoon. Just a second, I got cut down on the radio song.
Okay, thanks. And for those, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. The Daniel Speaker is our guest, and we're going to certainly enjoy what our callers have to share. Are you ready, sir?
How are you?
Yes, sir. Oh, man. Very good, very good.
Listen, do you have anybody on your panel from public health?
No, you want us to try to read somebody from public health to come on?
Well, yes, something that they could answer to.
Okay. So one of the physicians, perhaps? You have somebody in mind that you want us to reach out to specifically?
I want to talk about the coronavirus.
Okay. Well, we send an email and an invite, and have they've always been responsive. So anything in particular that you want them to address?
Okay. Well, you ready to take my information?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The number of people to leave the island.
Mm-hmm.
Number the minus of the number of people to leave that has got to leave the island. Minus off the 66,000 people, right?
Right.
Okay. Then the big business pay for their staff coronavirus tests, and the small business pay for all their staff the coronavirus test, which would take a lot of people out of the 66,000. So government would have a percentage of, I don't know, that would be 50,000 or 45,000 a year. So it would be that. I think it would be better to go that route, because that's a big amount of people off of the total people living on the island. So
reduce the strain on it. Okay.
They got 100 and something tests. People that do tests, they should be able to do that the balance of the remaining people that needed tests to be done let's say in a year time or in a year and a half, they could be completed. The whole island would be completed by everybody having the tests done, and I think that would be a good thing. Otherwise, on that, government could make it mandatory.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I hear you. I hear what you're sharing, and there are some things, and certainly I'll ask Mr. Daniel for his perspective, but for me personally, there are some things that make sense. Now, we know that the governor shared just recently at one of the press briefings that a number of people left and then a number of people came back. So if you were to do the math, there was very little change just from the numbers. And as you're sharing, a lot of people have been asking, well, what is the population now? We heard the question often at the press briefings. Want to know what it was and what the numbers that are left and where we are and what is the impact. There are some who believe, other than the visitors who were here in the hotels, other than them, there really not been much of a change in the movement in the population. It's just that we're all, locked up, as it were. But your points are there. So let me reach out and let's see if we can get somebody on to help us to, answer some of those questions. All right.
Yes, because when I say big businesses, I mean all like the hotel and all of the companies and all of that they pay for their staff. It would be good help to government doing the other rest afterwards.
Yes, sir.
So all of that slack would be taken up, then that government would be less than 6,000. There would be a whole lot of people minus out of that would be done.
We'll reach out to the medical officer, health, and see if we can get direction as to how to go about it. So we'll thank you for that, sir. Okay. And I believe Ms. Susan shares we got another break and then a caller. You want to take the break now, Ms. Susan? All right. We'll pause. And Ms. Daniel, to you, our other caller, respectfully, let's follow our instructions. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll join the caller. Stay tuned.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
CUC wants to assure you that it is prepared to deliver safe and reliable electricity to Grand Cayman throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. While our office and post offices remain closed, please connect with us using the following methods. Visit www.cuc-cayman.com. Register for MyCUC. Sign up for e-billing. Use Telelink, our automated phone service system. We are here to help. Email service@cuc.ky or call us at 949-5200.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of the Business Buzz is brought to you by Count on Us Cayman Limited, offering bookkeeping services, property management, customs brokerage, and Cayman auto and tech services. For more information, call them on 623-6941 or 323-3995 or email info@countonuscaymanlimited.com.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Social distancing. Well, that means you're to keep a distance of 3 to 6 feet away from the person next to you. Or in layman's term, if you can see the color of the eye next to you, you're too close. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
It's time to stay steady in the summer and be ready for the fall. Summer 2020 classes begin on May 11th, and there has never been a more opportune time for you to invest in your future with online classes at UCCI. Do your part to keep our island safe and stay home Cayman while furthering your educational goals. Continue or start your success story today by visiting ucci.edu.ky/myucci to find out more about the enrollment process. Call 623-8224 or email info@ucci.edu.ky to learn more.
Has being quarantined at home have you looking at your living space differently? Well, Tomlinson Furniture is now offering free island-wide deliveries and phone consultations to help you design a comfortable living space. For inspiration and ideas, browse the Tomlinson Furniture and Mattress Gallery Facebook page, Tomlinson Furniture Cayman on Instagram, or website at tomlinsonfurniture.ky. Open from 9:30 a.m. for phone consultations and orders. Call 949-5383. Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Free delivery island-wide.
Your personal, physical, mental, and emotional health are crucial during these times. We are social creatures, and times of social isolation can seem torturous, but it is temporary. Much like the growing pains of our youth, we will get through this. During these times of social distancing, do all you can to maintain your physical, mental, and emotional welfare. Your family and the community needs you to emerge strong. Hashtag stay home, Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Just a quick reminder, the press briefing, as we now understand, is going to be at 3 p.m. today. So slight delay. It's not going to be at 2, it's going to be at 3 p.m. And we certainly have a guest on, Mr. Daniel Spiegel, and a caller. Mr. Daniel is still there, sir?
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for keeping our company. We're going to get back to you. And I believe we had a caller before the break. Let me check. Good afternoon. Are you still there?
Yes, Dwayne, I'm still here.
Oh, thank you very much for hanging on. How are you today?
Not bad on you, sir. Is it me now or is it Mr. Stevens?
It is you. It is you, man. We got you. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Talk to us.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. I didn't get in the beginning. I was out in the ground trying to do all the planting, so I
It's
just
too bad you
tuned
were
in.
not
Is
fishing.
there any special? Since I can't go about fishing, I can have plants.
Nope. You can talk about whatever you want.
That's got find something to do. They can't keep so long. But anyhow, I don't know if you got any guests there. What a good afternoon to the guests if they're there.
They're there as well. Yeah.
But I want to agree with Miss Shirley, 100%. If by now, if the people, not saying that we still can't say it, but if by now, if the people haven't got the message how to social distance, wash your hands and everything, they're not gonna do it. So may the Lord guide them that they don't be the dead ones, but you can only take out to the well, but you can't make them drink. So we can only preach, but we need to find something else now to talk about. I mean, that is wore off now, and I'm not saying that we got to do away with it, but we got to get something more positive to talk about. Mm-hmm. We need to start figuring out what we are going to do with our economy. Right now, as we all know, tourism is gone. It's gone for right now. We don't know what time it's coming back. It might be right around the corner, as well it could be another 2 years, 5 years. What are we going to do? So we need to start negotiating with the rest of the world, with the resources that we have here. I do not want to give it all my ideas on the radio. I would like to, if somebody from one of the statistics or some of the departments would give me a call, I would like to sit down and have a sensible conversation with these people. I want somebody that's in authority that we can get an idea. I have a strong idea, and I think now is the time that we need to look at it. We can't wait, because anyhow that our economy gets open and we get left behind, the world, right now the whole world is down. And if we don't embrace it now, we can be the islands of time forgotten, just like how we was in the early 60s, 50s, 40s and 50s. We're going right back to that stage, because we're going to be left behind. So I'm asking somebody to please give me a call. My number is 917-2985. And I would like if somebody would give me a call. I would like to come and have a meeting. I better go do it on social media, however we go get it out. I got a great idea, and we need to embrace it now while we are down.
Well, you want to share would you want to share briefly what that idea is, just to sort of teaser?
The things that we have in Cayman that we have to use, that we are actually wasting right at today, as of today, we're still wasting it. So I don't want to give it all on the radio, because I don't want to.
I hear you.
I know I'm going to get barked at too much, but I would like to. I'm sure that we got enough, or people, Mr. McKeever would say, we got enough common bits about us that we can actually put it together and get something, because right now we are wasting this product.
Yep. Fair enough.
Okay. So if somebody could please give me a call, I would be great. I am desperate to get this sorted out, because I'm sure we got to go back to the drawing table with it, but by the grace of God, we can do it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. You're most welcome. And now, as I was listening to the callers and reflecting, this is the time that people have on their hands, and they're thinking, because they're not so hectic, their lives aren't so stressed, that they do have time to think. You go back to the days of Aristotle and Plato, and recognizing that people were assembled in the town squares, and they were thinking and talking, and sort of coming up with not just insightful things, but they were encouraging people. Maybe that's one of the good things now we have time on our hands. But I wanted to perhaps ask of you, we were talking about the legal ramifications, potential impacts on our movements and our freedoms, our liberties and the like. Any thoughts in that direction?
Well, course, this is now happening in the United States and not here, but worldwide, people are being prosecuted for breaking the curfew rules, for instance, or some leniency towards those, but not others. In any event, this woman who had her salon, and this judge went way over his authority and put her in jail because she didn't abide by the governor's order. So the governor corrected it, if you will, by saying, "I do not intend anybody to be jailed for breaking this rule." So, but that's part of the legal problem. And what's good is that the system will hopefully air all this and will correct it without too much ado. But your callers, especially the last caller, I really appreciate what she said, because she's thinking not only outside the box is a common phrase, but she's thinking outside of herself. And what she's saying is the islands need to think about the future and what that means and what's happened here over the last many decades, going from basically a flyover island because of various things, mosquitoes and whatnot, and became the crown jewel of the Caribbean. So how do you keep that going? And she's asking some very good questions, and they do need answers. So I was very impressed with her position.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No. I'm seeing, as you shared, the whole idea that people now are starting to, perhaps, if they allow me to use this word, demand. They want more accountability. They want more timely, accurate, digestible information. And as she was sharing, we have these things before us. Perhaps, as you shared, like others, they have time on their hands. They're thinking, they're seeing what is transpiring, and they're looking forward to something that is better. Not necessarily more, but better. And that kind of brings me to the whole point of where we are as a people. The callers prior were talking about the impact that the actions of man are having on the environment, our built environment, our physical environment and the like. And we're seeing the waterways presumably cleaner and clearer, the skies likewise. But again, with the beaches being closed, the actions of a few causing the enjoyment of the many being negatively affected, are we getting this whole thing right? Not just in Cayman, but in other jurisdictions. And is it coming back down to what a fellow that I talked to earlier, who was reluctant to share his thoughts? Is this more of a coordinated effort, as it is an effort to ensure that people are cooperative? Something to ponder.
Yes. I was just also thinking, and your callers, I think, really covered this. An interesting question is, what has been the what's been going on around us while this horrible thing persists, and the answer is things like children were malnourished. Well, they were malnourished before the COVID-19, and as it's going on, and maybe after. So that's a crying area that needs improvement. And also, there's this story out there, and I'm not trying to bring everybody down with more negative news, but we have these killer hornets making their way to the United States. And if you don't think that that's important, let me tell you real quick why it is. They eliminate good honeybees. And honeybees, besides giving us delicious honey, bee honey, are the important pollinators for all the food and flowers and whatnot that we see and eat. And without them, we're going to be in deep trouble. So that's something else. Even though we are in the middle of this horrible, horrible situation, and human beings are dying, they're not just numbers, they're individuals. you got to look also what's going on around us and deal with that too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we're not seeing, on the scale that we're talking about. And as the caller prior was sharing, there's more that is happening now, and we're focusing on one thing with hurricane season. So we do have the news break coming up. The press briefing, as you know, was scheduled for 2, but it's been postponed until 3. Let me publicly ask you, I know you have a full day. You're more than welcome to join us for the remainder of the program, but I don't want to impose on you any longer. Do you want to stay on and we can chat some more, or you've got to get back to paying the bills and doing your daily work? How do you feel? You want to join us after the break? All right. We're going to pause, go to the news. When we come back, maybe we can talk about, some of these preparations and these other things, in particular the upcoming hurricane season. Is there something we could be doing? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Your 2 p.m. headlines brought to you by GreenTurtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
It will be one for the history books for Caribbean carnivals worldwide as Cayman's national carnival, Batabanu, launches its first ever virtual street parade this Saturday, featuring international soca performers, Marsville and 5-Star Akil. Local radio stations are also participating to help take masqueraders virtually down West Bay Road, including Radio Cayman. Zoom access details will be provided via the Batabanu Facebook page. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Texas was one of a handful of states to deem abortions non-essential procedures during the pandemic. But what impact has that decision had? As the U.S. was going through the darkest days of the crisis, the state of Texas was fighting hard in the courts to ensure abortions did not take place there. The battle against women's health groups was over the state's assertion that abortions were non-essential. And Google's sister firm, Sidewalk Labs, has scrapped a plan to build a smart city in Canada, citing complications caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. For several years, it had pursued ambitions to build a digital-first city in Toronto from the internet up. The chief executive blamed unprecedented economic uncertainty for abandoning the plan. The project had proved controversial, and Sidewalk Labs had already been forced to scale back its ambitions. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Your 2 p.m. headlines brought to you by GreenTurtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Social distancing is crucial for our community to get back to normal. And never before has communication been so crucial. Keeping in touch with family, friends, and up-to-date requires you to stay in touch. Green Turtle offers the solution for both. Download the Green Turtle app now. Top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination in Cayman. Phones delivered to your home, and with the new rewards program, you can even redeem points towards a new phone and other products. Download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Hashtag Stay Home Cayman. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
This Mother's Day, more than ever, Celebrations wants to deliver a special thank you to the other unsung hero, Mom. Delight your mom with a gorgeous, fresh floral arrangement, a special gift, gourmet or fruit and flower combination, all uniquely designed for her. With every order this Mother's Day, Celebrations will be donating $5 to Feed Our Future and helping to support families. Celebrations will be doing island-wide, safe, non-contact delivery of flowers and gifts from this Thursday, May 7th until Sunday, May 10th. Call us on 623-2044 or place your order online at www.celebrationsgifts.com. Happy Mother's Day.
I love you.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us. Now, as we were sharing, the press briefing has been delayed until 3 p.m. today, so we'll continue with our call, inviting our listeners to share with us. And we have the wonderful company of Mr. Daniel Spiegel still on the line. So, hey, thanks for sharing your afternoon with us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
All right.
Great use of time.
Yeah. Thank you. During the break, I got a couple of messages from some of our listeners, and just quickly paraphrase. I may want to read one. It's a little lengthy, but I'll see. But they were talking about the beach, and one reference to the caller prior that was saying about the fishing and the like, and not just for those who may want it for recreation or who may need it to have to complement, their food, but for those for whom this, was a way of life, their source of income, and was wondering why is it now. That may be a question that we can pose to others for an answer, but I won't necessarily ask you for an answer. But what do you think of the beaches being closed? That people are not able to exercise, take a swim, or snorkel. People can't fish from their shore, can't go out in their boats and the like. Is that potentially, from the perspective of the legal ramifications, one, unhealthy for the mental considerations, but two, a significant imposition of the state on its people?
Well, excuse me. Again, it's a case of the few winning it for the many. However, in the case of people swimming as opposed to just walking on the beach, there's always the push and pull of not only the law but also common sense, which is if you're going to go swimming anywhere, you should never go swimming alone. And if you're going to do scuba diving, all scuba diving equipment companies on the island require that you have a buddy. So you have to have two people. So right then and there, you're going to break the rules in a couple of different ways, and for sure one being social distancing. So I think that's not going to be as easy to get around. But the idea of people walking on the beach together, if you get a lot of people, it's not going to work. So maybe they can have only two people, and they have to abide by social distancing. But then someone will say, "Well, wait a minute. Well, there could be 6 of us walking with social distance." But in reality, people tend not to. I think the last caller said the same thing. People tend not to follow the rules, and that's a problem.
But we're saying that people from the same household, all right? And I go back then to what I think the Premier recognized yesterday at the press briefing. As of Monday, not only is the noise pollution of the blowers and the weed whackers and all the other noise, but the garden companies, their personnel are in the company vehicles going from job site to job site. And the employees are within close proximity, not only on the job site, but within the vehicles, the trucks, the vans, and the like, as they move about. So if you look at that, and then you compare it to 2 individuals walking the beach or taking a swim, or the members of the household, taking the boat out to fish, is it any different? One would probably argue that being on a boat in the salt water, in the sea, in the sand, and the sun is that much healthier, much better than it would be for the other thing. But again, it's just to promote discussion and to question this idea of what is reasonable and what is probably advisable as well.
Right. There's these are what I call reasonable thoughts by people. If I might, I don't want to continue reading all this, but it's kind of interesting. This was sent to me about a week ago, and it's called Let's Be Civil.
And what it says is when the state tells you it's safe to go to Home Depot to buy a sponge, but dangerous to go to buy a flower, it's not about your health. When the state shuts down millions of private businesses but doesn't lay off a single government employee, it's not about your health. So you see, and it goes on and on and on. So there's all these conflicting and, if you will, confusing rules being set. And but so someone says, well, wait a minute, you're not letting us do this, but you're letting the other people do this to the same result. So anyway, that's what's going. I agree with you. That's what's going on.
Yeah, as I listen to you, right, and I think this is where there are those of us who truly enjoy, reading, whether it's a book, whether it's a newspaper article, whether it's a research paper, it doesn't matter. We just like to read, and it's great when people share things that you can read and you can critique for yourself. Unlike watching, the One-Eye Monster, that you want to see what the director, the producer, or the advertisers wanted you to see. But I've been drawn to a number of articles coming out of Europe, out of Germany in particular, and there were some things in the global media that asked us, to remember when it was the narrative of the government of this thing, the war on terror, the idea that there was a search for these weapons of mass destruction and what have you, and quickly the public through the media no longer remembered, what it was that started this thing, how it got started. We just sort of fall into official narrative, and then when we fail to consider, well, where are we now? What is this thing? Is this now with mask, with the notion of this pandemic, that we're at risk equally of falling into the same trap that we did when there was a search for weapons of mass destruction, and not questioning then as we're not questioning now?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no, I'm just again in looking at some of the critique by the academics, some of the critique by the investigative journalists, some of the commentary by some scientists, and wondering to what extent, as a consuming public, we are so quick to A, give up our freedoms and liberties, B, to just accept the official narrative, and looking at that in light of recent experiences with respect to this supposed war on terror and the hunt for these weapons of mass destruction that seemingly weren't there. Are we now likewise in this era doing the same thing?
Yeah. Well, boy, you really touched on a few items that are areas that, especially in the past with weapons of mass destruction, that could be a whole other show, if not two. Actually, I happen to have been at a seminar where the former head of Saddam Hussein's in the army, he was the head of all of transportation, and according to him, and he wrote a book about this, that in fact he was given the job by Saddam Hussein personally to move all of the weapons of mass destruction out of Iraq before the United States invaded. Now, whether or not you believe the man or not, and I tend to believe him, he said, these weapons were, I don't know what the weapons were. He never really talked about the specifics, but that they went to Syria and other places that were so-called friendly to Saddam, so that he wouldn't be caught, with all these weapons. So, and there were photos at the time of jets made in France, jet fighters that were buried in the sand and later were found, but none of that ever came out. The narrative always was that we were told, we were given false information, and these weapons did not exist, and it was just a big bluff. And who do you believe? I mean, except that the people that have differing views are probably not going to be heard much. They tend to be tampered down, if not eliminated. So, where do you go? Where do you go to give an alternate view? And people tend to be limits. We tend to follow the way that everybody's walking. They're walking at a distance. They're walking straight ahead, and so we walk straight ahead too.
Right.
And anybody that doesn't do that is considered a troublemaker.
Yeah. Well, then as I listen to you, I reflect on, again, our press briefing. I believe it was Dr. Lee that shared that, in response to maybe a question or a comment about taking the temperature. Now, this was in the very early days of when they were questioning returning passengers coming back to Cayman. And they want to know whether going through the airports will be taking the temperatures of passengers and the like. And he had shared that in and of itself may not be the most effective. Now, I'm paraphrasing, way to assess that. Again, this was the early days. I say that to set the stage that we're gathering that large international airports, Heathrow, for instance, we've seen it in other places in Asia, where these thermal scanners potentially, will become part of parcel of the movement through airports and the taking of temperatures and the like. Now, if we look at Israel and its use of technology to monitor its own citizens under the guise of protection and the like, the question then, if we get to that point where this becomes the standard, you have to go through these scanners. Is there a risk that we've given up not only personal liberty, but more information, easier for governments to track and coordinate our movements than what necessarily would be the benefit of having your temperature checked, or the body scanners, or the thermal scanners, or the apps that track our tracing our movements? Are these things that academics, policymakers, and the like, citizen journalists in particular, are we ignoring? Okay, could I leave that question on the table as we take this final break, and maybe if you're so inclined, we can talk about that when we return.
Perfect.
All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Do you want to shop online at A.L. Thompson's? You can. We offer goods that you need now for your home and yard. Visit our website for details and register to shop. Currently, we sell only the items that are on the website, but we'll add products regularly and frequently to meet your needs. You could pay for your order by debit card, credit card, and store accounts. We have contact-free delivery, will not enter households, and will maintain social distance for everyone's safety. We hope that you'll enjoy shopping online at althompson.com. Please remain healthy and safe.
Home, which should be a haven, can even be less of a safe space during curfew if someone is experiencing child abuse. If you or anyone you know is being abused, help is nearby. For emergencies, call 911. They will redirect your call to the relevant agencies. For general guidelines and inquiries, call the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, at 1-800-534-2273 or 945-0545. Alternatively, email mash@gov.ky.
Grapetree Cafe is happy to announce that they will be reopening on Thursday, May 7th for takeout only. Your delicious fish will be available for takeout from Thursday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Call or WhatsApp to place your order, 324-5860. That's 324-5860. The management and staff of Grapetree Cafe in Bordentown would like to encourage everyone to practice social distancing and to stay home and stay safe.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Shelter in place. Stay home. Stay out of Johnny Public. Wanna got it now? If on a want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman, with hand sanitizer from $3.25, 10 surgical masks for $9.99, and 2 packs of KN95 masks for $6.99. Wholesale pricing available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations: Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the incredible lockdown price markdown and manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Hundreds of fine starting from cases of ice cold below wholesale prices, and save $9 off liters. Prices so low we can't say it on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks and social distancing while in store, and encourage other preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Now, quickly, a reminder that the press briefing has been delayed to 3 p.m. We've got a few minutes left. We're going to end promptly at 2:30, but the excellent company of Mr. Daniel Spiegel and a caller online, sir. So let's go straight to the phones. Let us do that first. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne. How you doing?
Excellent, sir. How about yourself?
Excellent. That's wonderful. No, I just wanted to tell you that before the end of this year, I don't know if it'll be in Cayman, before the end of this year, you remember when the Bible talk about that thing, the chip in your hand and the chip in your forehead and all that?
The mark of the beast?
The mark of the beast is going to happen before the end of this year. And now I'm telling you now. And
well,
the thing is that all of these, oh my God, you don't know.
Let me help you, right? I mean, there are those who would hear and would be dismissive of what you're sharing, right? But we're hearing, and presumably there are limited sort of iterations of this being called an immunity passport, some sort of ban or the like that people are going to be required potentially to wear or are wearing in some places to show that
they already got it in different places. They got it in some of the private businesses where they go into work, they just wave their hand in front of something and they go inside and everything that they do, is done with this thing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking for worldwide, it's liable to be before the end of this year. And
possibly.
I can tell you this, that, you have the New World Order. Him talking about the New World Order, you might have all the presidents. You had Bush and you had Obama. You had all these people talking about this New World Order, and they keep talking about it. It's like I told you before, the thing on the towers in New York was not a plane going, and that was contrived. That was done in such a way. That's why it came straight down. It didn't, because it had been a natural fall of things. It would have went all over the place. It didn't happen. When they did the Pentagon, nobody found a piece of the plane or anything. There was no planes there. No part of the planes in the I mean, this was done contrived with movies and stuff that they put on the internet, on the TV. Oh my goodness! Let me tell you, the good book talks about these things. And when you see it happen now, they're going to find supposedly a vaccine for this stuff, and then you're going to be forced to take that vaccine, and then so they'll treat you, because you're not going to just get the vaccine. You're going to have to go back then different times to be tested again and again. And if you don't have that chip in your hand, because you can say it's too expensive to have to be putting chips in your hand and all this kind of stuff, we can just give you one chip, and then when you go back, you have the chip, and they can tell you if you've been tested and all this kind of stuff. Sterling, let me tell you something. The good Lord not far from coming. And if we don't stop chasing money and everything, look what they're doing. The pharmaceutical companies that are going to make this vaccine now, going to make billions of dollars. They got cures for stuff like this from way back in the 1930s and 40s.
but because the greedy people, the money mongers that love the money so much, they don't want that because they can't make no money off it because it's free.
Well,
it's so terrible what's happening to the world, and I pray to God every night, every day, that He'll do something that'll stop this stuff from these people that are oh, you ever heard about the Bilderberg group?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
They meet every year, and they go up and last time I think it was up in Holland or someplace they went, and they plan. You see the Rothschilds and all these people with the money. They're the ones that's controlling everything. I mean, how it is that today, this is 2020, and we're still paying our poor little Caymanians, hard-working Caymanians, $6.50 an hour. And you hear me talk about after back in 1972, you're paying $8 or something. You could buy a gallon of milk and still have change.
Yeah, well, change.
The Bible says that.
Right. All right, so, well, hey, thank you. And we certainly will engage with you further. We're just about out of time, but thanks for sharing, sir. All right. Now, Mr. Daniel, do you recall a question I was leaving on the table before we went to the break? Nope. You there, sir? All right. Well.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I had muted it so to make sure I didn't disturb your listeners.
Yeah. No problem. I know you're, still like many, trying to get through the day and having to attend to all of the other endeavors. So thanks for sharing.
Right. No, but you have my full attention. So.
Yeah. No. Thank you for giving us that and for sharing and for encouraging people to at least consider what is before us and the light. I'm not sure. What was the question I asked before the break? If you don't remember, neither do I. So.
I really don't exactly. But I think we were. Well, maybe we're heading this way, and that is one of the things about time, which is fleeting for all of us, because that's how life is set up. Are we in fact individually using the time that we have now to the fullest extent of making things better? And that's rarely there's rarely time in our busy lives to do that. If you're a nurse and you go to the hospital and you're working there and you want to know how can I do this better, or you're a clerk working in a clothing store, how can I do my job better? We usually are so engrossed in what we're doing, we don't have the ability and the benefit of asking those kinds of questions. For whatever it's worth, that's just a thought. But I think we were also concerned about how we're all going to come out of this. How is this going to look? And it's kind of difficult to know, again, because of the amount of information floating around that's conflicting. It doesn't look like there's ever going to be an end, but there will be. There will be. And I'm not going to throw a spanner in the works here for people, but who in the heck says for sure there's going to be an inoculation? We don't know that for sure. It took years and years and years to figure out what's going on with polio. We did it. We did it in two ways, a vaccine and a solution to drink. But polio was effectively eradicated for most of the world. And that was a miracle. I'm of the age where I lived through that. So I remember it vividly. What's going to happen now is we're going to have to take each day. Hopefully, there'll be something new, something positive that we'll be able to rely on. And I think the Cayman Islands government of the islands, is doing a great job, and they're going to try to test basically every person on this island. And once you get that information, we'll pretty much know, at least today or that day, when it's done, that everybody's been tested. So we'll know if there's any virus still out there. But what we don't know are the people that are asymptomatic, and I'm not exactly sure how that works. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing your time with us, and I'm looking forward to engaging with you further. And hopefully, as people will start to do what you're sharing, use this time to think, to read, to question, continue to be, responsible and responsive, but respectful as well. So, again, I end by saying when I started, trust and pray you and all close to you will continue to be safe. All the best to you, sir.
Thank you, as to you and all your listeners.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, so Daniel Spiegel, and to our listeners, God bless you, sir. Thanks all of you for sharing with us. Now, the press briefing is going to be on today at 3 p.m. That's the latest we've been given. We invite you to stay tuned to Radio Cayman. Get the information there. When it starts, we'll be there to take it to you live. And we invite you to come back with us each and every day. In fact, there's only one radio station of value anyway, so make sure to stay tuned to Radio Cayman now and forevermore. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Also brought to you by GreenTurtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman.